Welcome to the Existentially Confused Ed podcast. We got Mike Magomi, the centrist, Courtney, the left-leaning former Democrat, and me, myself, the anarchist. Today we're going to talk about President Trump's inauguration, loss of faith in institutions, and the lack of community. Welcome to episode 1 of the pod. Like and subscribe.
Let's do this a little bit more. Basically, why I gathered us together is because we're transitioning into this new world of politics and what's going to happen with our country and stuff like that. Yeah. So what I want is to kind of connect the right people with the right people.
Nice. Be the bridge.
Yeah, because I may not believe in
connector.
In your agenda, Mike. Communist ass nigga.
Hey, yo, protect community land.
Socialist ass motherfucker. But Courtney is very much into this type of stuff as well too. And I think that she could do a lot of good coming in and talking about it with us as well, because she has a lot of opinions on it as well.
Sure. Yeah.
So let's see what she has to say about what's been going on.
Yeah.
About Trump being elected, stuff like that.
Yeah. Not to put me on the spot or anything.
Didn't mean to, but just started off.
We're here for you, Court.
Yeah.
It's all been
organized,
coordinated for you.
Hey. So, essentially, as you all know, we're about to enter into this new phase for the next 4 years. And I'm kind of having a hard time, It feels very easy to consider what we've seen thus far and not feel like we're fucking doomed. So...
No, say it into the mic. Say it into the mic, because there's... As we go along, I'm going to ask some clarifying questions.
Okay.
Right? And the more clear I am about, what we're doing here, not to say that I'll have less questions, but the more, in a sense, appropriate or efficient my questions will be, right?
Okay.
As we go along. So your mindset right now is that in about 48 hours, because today is what's the 19th? This motherfucker gets inaugurated on the 21st. So in about...
tomorrow. Right? Isn't it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow, actually, yeah.
Yep. On Martin Luther King Day?
Yeah.
Damn, why did I keep thinking it was on...
Isn't that...
20th.
Fact check it.
Yeah. I could have sworn it was the 21st, but... True. Yeah.
I thought it was the 20th.
When's Trump getting elected inaugurated in office?
Inaugurated.
So the understanding is that in a couple hours, in a sense...
The 20th, yes.
It's a wrap.
Tomorrow.
It is the 20th.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. It's all right. 19th now.
So not that it's necessarily a wrap, it's just that a lot of things are going to start
There's a lot of doom and gloom
forming into place that is going to impact a lot of communities very negatively. Yeah. So for people who are connected to communities like mine, right? Sure. Who's to say that my community is the one that's going to make it, is going to be safe,
Sure.
So I have a lot of concern, and I want to be in a place where I can see hope and I can see what I'm supposed to do to make it out in a positive way, but it just doesn't seem very hopeful.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty bleak.
Okay.
Yeah.
Under Daddy Trump's America.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, and
you guys should have had the Roseanne clip of her rapping.
Yeah, I just saw that. That was interesting. Yeah. And I spoke on that. Well, to my partner, right? To my lady, we had a conversation about that. And to sum up some of that conversation, I said that is a person devoid of culture. She's like a empty vessel that's out there looking for a way to like express herself. And part of how she's doing that is by, in a sense, degrading other cultures, right?
Like rapping,
Right.
About
degrading other cultures, but then in a sense,
yeah, box breaks.
yeah, and then in a sense emulating that,
Yeah.
destroying that which she, in a sense, admires, if you will, right? And you know these are in a sense, how do you say, unchecked mental health things. Like this person wasn't necessarily like this all the time.
No,
There was probably, you know, layers of it, elements of it.
Yeah.
But as the years went on, it just kind of evolved
Yeah.
into what we're seeing today.
Which is why
Imagine.
I'm so concerned with them,
Yeah.
these MAGA people, because
Right.
it's even the people who are saying that's who they are now,
Yeah.
right? And we know some of those people. It's just like this is definitely not the person that I've come to know.
Right.
And like what happened here. And there's a lot of different theories of the idea of like, you know, maybe it's because you were so scared about the things that were being put out there that this is what you gravitated towards. Or from your point, as you were saying, people who are in search of a community and feeling accepted. And so a lot of those people are feeling accepted in this way. And then there's also, you know, some people who are, to my partner's points, the idea of people who are saying like, these are my basic needs, and they were trying to, you know, come to me and tell me that that those are important too. Okay. Yeah. That those basic needs are also important too. That's a whole thing in itself.
Sure.
And then others who are just saying like, maybe this fear, or maybe the reason why you're so easily susceptible is maybe because you're not as educated about these other things. You know, it's hard for us to be able to come to you and be able to have conversations to you to let you know the full approach if you don't understand what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
You know? Right. And that's
Context.
That's scary, because now these people have made a huge decision that impacts so many people in such a very scary way.
Yeah, and then, you know, I'll hit you with that's democracy for you, right? So this conversation is gonna kind of be a little bit of all over the place.
Democracy.
It can be part of you know, how you introduced it, like a political conversation, right?
Yeah.
Where like we're entering this new, in a sense, era or this new time.
This is,
you know, and then
basically this is three different perspectives on what's going on right now.
But we're also
you got yours, you got his, and then you got mine's.
Sure.
And on how we each individual on what we take as, you know, politics. You or what? Like, how do you identify, you know, politically?
I would say more so left-leaning, more so liberal-leaning. I don't think after everything that's happened in the last couple of months that I would necessarily call myself a Democrat anymore. But I would more so say left.
See what I mean? Now, that right there is like, you're safe to speak in that. That's pretty much what I was going to say. Like, you're open to be exactly to say whatever you got to say.
Yeah.
As long as it's within the realm of logic and facts. With a little bit of feelings.
To the best of our abilities.
And then this dude being a socialist, I think.
Don't speak for me. It's not. I call me center progressive.
Center progressive.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know.
And what does that mean?
That there are elements of, in a sense, my ideologies that might be considered conservative, if you will. But I can't sit there and rest in that. So
conservative.
Yeah, in conservative, right?
I see
So I'm definitely progressive because of that.
I see what you're saying.
Right?
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, because I guess you could say I'm more of a step at a time.
I could dig it.
Type of, you know, personality even, right? And so that's where I keep it at. You know, progressive. I sit there. I can.
But regardless of what's going on, this is your base on that.
Yeah.
I can dig it. I'm more just like very apolitical about it. It's like
fucking radical.
Man,
anarchy.
I look at you guys the way you guys look at non-voters and shit. Like he was like fucking squares.
Yeah,
like,
see
you
that.
Like he's like you.
I mean, we can talk about that.
You gave me that's
you know?
how I feel about it.
Yeah, because I've
focused on that, but
because like, you gave me that's because that's pretty much the climate of what I'm trying to say here. Like you gave me like you got me. There's people who think like me. He's like, man, what the fuck cares about politics?
Sure.
And then there's the two other sides, not the two other sides, because you're not the two. You know, you guys are very like in the middle. Or,
I think
we're
we're closer to closer in ideology than not.
Exactly. So it's like you gave me, but there's enough opinions here to like, kind of this would be a good conversation to have.
Yeah.
To where it's like it's safe for everyone to kind of just speak.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Nobody has to get
in this scenario, I would enjoy having somebody that's, I guess, will consider themselves completely conservative.
Yeah, that's the only thing we're really missing, to be honest. Like,
and further clear this conversation moving forward, I personally see a difference between what would be labeled a Republican and a MAGA.
MAGA.
There's that's like something that was, kind of from within the Republican Party was created, if you will. Fine. It has its attachments, connections, to the party, if you will.
They're not the same.
I don't necessarily perceive them the same. No.
Yeah.
No.
Because go ahead.
I've seen too many sensible conservatives to see that there's a clear difference between the one group and the other. And so, yeah.
I could dig it. Yeah, that's kind of where I get with it all too as well. It's just like there's so many. It's hard. This is why like I have such a hard time picking a side, or not even picking a side, or just doing something.
And I'm doing
there's too many grays. You know what I mean? There's too many grays. It's just like
it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be like, oh, this is who I am forever. Like you can always change your ideas. You can have somebody in the party that you are in and say, I don't like those people though. These are the centralized ideologies, but like I don't like these particular people, and that's okay too.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Like, I don't think that Republicans and MAGA are necessarily the same.
Okay. Yeah.
When I consider somebody who's MAGA, I think Trump loyalist. Like, I'm not necessarily like
people that wore diapers
for the Constitution. I'm more so whatever this guy says, and that to me is like red flag. Like that's dangerous. Especially if you're putting these people in power. Are you familiar with the situation going on with Hegseth?
Yeah, secretary. Well, he's going up for Secretary of Defense, right?
Yeah. Like that's
like his.
Wild.
Are you saying his qualifications is not qualified?
No, he's like
his
what?
He's
a
like.
Okay. His whole thing.
His background is crazy.
Right. Yeah,
he's not even up to the standard of like the highest level of the military.
I will say this. All right, look, there's everybody will talk shit about everybody, right? Especially when you get to these like levels of exposure, if you will, right?
Yeah.
So I can hear some trash talk about a person and say, I was like, maybe there's more to it, give them like benefit of the doubt kind of thing, right? But this dude's own mom came out and said some shit against him, and I was like, oh damn, bro, Mom Dukes is like trashing you, bro. Like your character must be all kinds of fucked up, man. But whatever.
They're trying to come at this one angle of like, well, you cheated on your partner. How are we supposed to trust you to not cheat on America? And I'm like, why? He has a white supremacist tattoo on his chest, and that's what we're talking about. I'm like, he is a loyalist. If Trump says do this illegal stuff for me, how are we supposed to trust that he's going to be like?
I'll take it further and more, and probably. I mean that's concerning. I don't know if it's more concerning or like maybe adjacent. Same level of concern. But the dude he's picking for the what is it? I don't know if it's FBI director or something like that. But the dude wrote a whole like children's book on how like Trump is like this.
God?
Along them lines, man. Like,
he's a king or a god or something.
I think me making that statement is enough for people to go out there and like. Unfortunately, you're if you're curious enough, you know what I mean. Like, go out there and find. But he wrote a whole children's book on, in a sense, glorifying Trump, and
he made his own version of Chuck Norris memes and shit like that.
Pretty
Trump
much,
can karate kick
bro. Like
5 nuns.
Yes, very much so, bro. Very much. So yeah, I in a sense. for the sake of this conversation and all conversations, I think it is important to have that distinction between those two groups, the loyalist, if you will, and while it does, while it can be a bit gray, you know, and I think politics is in some way not in a obscure or clandestine like hiding shit. Things should be gray, right? Because like bipartisanship is ideal. Right?
Yes.
Right. And so in that kind of way, like it shouldn't just be like one color or the other, if you will, right? Shouldn't be reduced to that.
Yeah.
There's got to be some purple, I guess, right? Red and blue make purple or something. There's got to be some purple. Fuck gray, it's purple. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so in that kind of way, man, like you know, being able to know that there are, in a sense, extremes of this, right? There's some there's some that are completely red, some that are completely blue, and then there's
some purple.
I mean, the purple, the purple is the ideal, right? That's the prime or the ideal zone to be in, right? But then the extremes on each side, right?
Right.
You know, there's the extreme leftist, if you will, and there's the extreme rightist.
Yeah.
You know
But
what I mean?
feel
If that is,
the idea instilled in place of the extreme rightist, I feel like created our extreme leftists. Because before that, who we had Barack, and Barack brought people together.
Okay.
You know, I'm just talking about the people. I'm not talking about his policies. I'm not talking about what he did.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the people themselves. And we saw people who are leftists, who had left, you know, ideologies. And then we also saw those same in conservatives, people who are more, you know, church oriented and, you know, just conservative. Let's just go conservative.
Yeah.
But with that in mind, everybody was kind of able to meet a middle. And then we were introduced to Trump, who said whatever he wanted and was just out here talking out his ass, essentially.
Grabbing bitches by pussies.
Being offensive to everyone. And like people vibed with it, you know? People were like, yeah, I do hate black people. Yeah, I do hate the LGBTQ community, you know? And like was just so verbal and so like hateful. And it just built over time until it just was this new thing. Which then created people who were like, that's awful. Why would you say something? Like, why would you instill so much hate into this community? Why would you then act upon that hate and harm people? Which I feel as though at that point created our radical left.
Yeah.
Did he really create it, or was it just already there? You know what I mean? He just kind of just like, wait.
Hold on, give it a moment, because
Well, I got something to say.
Oh, go ahead.
Radicals on both sides were created because on both sides they lost faith in the system, because the system is broken beyond repair and it's functioning exactly how it's supposed to. And the idea of repairing it is just an illusion to keep you inside of it to maintain it. But it's not repairable. Capitalist society is functioning exactly how it's supposed to. This is why we have emerging oligarchies, and they lie to us and they keep telling us to vote to fix it, and the votes get nowhere. We've seen it over and over and over again. Nothing changes. We get lied to for a couple of years. We think something gets
you should grab a mic, man.
We think something gets accomplished.
Grab a mic, man.
Right?
And it doesn't happen.
You just took 3 minutes to show.
Which is totally true. But I feel as though it wasn't for the leftists. It wasn't to that extreme under Barack.
No, it's always extreme. It's just we have the illusion of it.
I'm not talking about like the people in like the political people in this frame of reference. I'm just talking about the people themselves.
No, it's the illusion of progress that doesn't really exist. Because when we got Barack, we're like, wow, America has gone so far. We have a black president. The whole time he's half black, and he's from that same line of families, them same bloodlines who have been in power for hundreds of years. Like these same families have maintained their status.
Shit, we activated Vinny
for hundreds of years. So by the time we realized that he was not a actual black American person, it was too late. Like we fell for it. And then by the time the information started coming out that he's bombing more people than anybody, he's caging more kids than anybody, it was too late. The damage was already done. We got sold the illusion We believe Young Jeezy because we love Jeezy, and that it worked. And then Trump came in office, literally repeated it, the same handbook, but for the other side, and the shit worked again. So it's just a lie we keep believing and believing and believing and believing because it's
I would say somewhere,
system.
And that was
somewhere
the last
along the
time
lines
Vinny ever spoke on the podcast.
No, I was gonna say this conversation is over according to Vinny.
Because he went.
So there is nothing.
hiding.
There is nothing to discuss any further, y'all. Prepare for
See,
what are we gonna call this? Anarchy
That's
now?
where my mind is
Anarchy.
going too, because it's just like
it all,
it feels
yeah.
so hopeless at that point.
You have to get to that point
No,
because
bro.
it's at that point, it's at the 0 point we were actually
look,
able to start creating something that is sustainable and viable. But until we get to that 0 point, we're just gonna keep on.
I heard anarchy. Sorry.
Enter Ralph.
Enter Ralph.
So here's where you'll get not so much a counter response, but the more I guess if that's the doom, then I guess I'm I'm speaking optimism then,
Is the elimination of ignorance
He just said it different. He said the same thing I just said.
It's cool. Yeah.
is the elimination of ignorance doom?
Yeah.
Because I'm not a doomer. I'm not saying it's the end. Give up, quit everything. No.
That,
we have to come to
educate and to inform people. No, that's not. It's not.
None of that matters.
Doom. It's
when the
it's
monkeys come.
Oh my god.
The apes. It's the fucking apes. We're worried about fucking economies and shit.
At least once a week. At least once.
This comes up.
Gotta keep up your cardio, dog.
Maybe that's what the real podcast, the real concern we should be discussing here, man.
You guys want to talk
The
about
rising, the uprising. This guy.
You guys want to talk about politics?
Oh shit! They got treats.
There's sewer people numbers rising every day.
Every day.
There's sewer people.
Hey, you what? I'm passing them around.
no,
Oh, you got
I
one?
got
Or
one.
you got a
Yeah,
snack?
you
Throw them on a.
So you see what you see? But continue, yeah.
No, so yeah, and that's where more of my progressiveness comes in, right? I agree with some of it. So it's not, this is what I'm saying. It's not a counter to what he's saying.
Yeah.
The system is fucked.
Yeah.
It's fucked. But guess what? It didn't just happen. The system's been some sort of fucked in a sense since inception.
So do you feel like we're at a turning point now that everybody's becoming a little bit more
informed.
aware?
Yeah. I mean, I would say every election, right? So like, look, this is my thing about fucking tearing it all down and like, I don't know what we're gonna call it, starting over.
Starting over.
What does that end up looking like?
Redemption.
Right? And I'm not saying that
Say redemption.
we're gonna do the same damn thing, but it ends up like, we've had these moments, right? Or is the French Revolution a moment in a sense exemplary of
It was all
what
lies.
you're calling for?
It was all lies.
Let them eat
What?
cake.
That doesn't work.
Which goes to my point. We did that already. Humanity has done that multiple fucking times. We uprisings, all that shit. It's happened, and maybe it will happen again. Right? I'm not gonna come out here and eliminate the possibility of that type shit. But guess what? We always end up making progress when we fucking sit down and have a conversation and enact things like democracy.
Yeah.
Just because America is in this state doesn't mean that, in a sense, democracy hasn't worked in other countries. We're just getting rid of the last bits of trash that we had. Trump, to me, is the example of that. He's the last bit of this fucking trash that we have to. And then the rest is cleanup. Clean out our alleyways and shit of America, if you will, right? Of society here. Soon we will have our, healthcare and in a sense, equitable rights for everyone,
When Mexico and Canada band together to attack us?
Probably.
Right.
Are you not paying attention, dog?
Yeah. Mexico
feels like he's
Mexico
just-
and Canada are laughing at this motherfucker. As should we.
Yeah.
Just gonna get a bunch
But
of
since life is serious,
Everybody is.
and this is probably not good for the pot. But
It isn't.
Chewing.
I have not been liking how it sounds.
But let me push some of it to the side. That in this scenario, there has to be a sense of in a sense, a feeling of what is it? Self actualization. Just knowing your power.
Yeah.
Knowing your power, because the moment any motherfucker that comes up here and says, "I'm gonna do a thing," and we bend the knee to that, what just gave him the power?
Yeah, right. Doesn't matter if you know anymore because you just gave it up.
Did he have the MAGA hat on?
Could he could?
You think I'm gonna sit there and bend the knee to this motherfucker?
If he's got a MAGA hat on, you have to.
No, I'm gonna get the fuck. I'm gonna get the fuck up.
Is, if you grab my bitch
I'ma
by
go
the
back.
pussy, I'm grabbing your bitch by the pussy.
I mean, and that's the but that's equitable rights, and that's a conversation we've had.
Yeah, we have.
And you owe me some money.
That's what I said. As soon as he comes in here, you know, and this is where, you know, facts over feelings, but being respectful to how do you say, respectable women. But whoever the fuck he walks in here with, maybe the second or third question I would ask him is, where's she at? Because I'm grabbing that pussy. Because we operating in your world now.
It's just Trump's America, baby.
It's Trump's America now. That's just how it goes down.
Grabbing pussies, huh?
And then the moment he says, motherfucker, then we're living in my motherfucking America. Don't bring none of that shit over here.
I identify as a Caucasian, brother.
There you go, a line. A line with the winning team.
White man.
Get it.
I identify my proverbs are Caucasian, white man, and crack.
And for the odd people, that's Ralph.
So there are people bending the knee. But they all have their motives. You know, they have their own agendas. Right? You know, you got, you know, tech billionaires, you know, bending the knee, right? Again, I was recently surprised. It hurt a little bit, but I get it. Governor of California.
Yeah.
In some shape or another, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Had to do, you know, what he had to do. But my response to that, right? It's not just it's me saying on some defiance, right? I'm not gonna bend the knee to this. And it's not, you know, just to be a fucking a rebel or some shit. But to be more clear, is strategy. If we allow, in a sense, their strategy to outlast our strategy, then whose fault is that? Which leads to my response, and what I was about to say. You know, regardless of what these people are doing, you still, each of us to have our own lives. That we have to. They're living their lives, and yes, the things that they do can impact us in some shape or another.
Yeah.
But there is no one that can have more impact on your life than us as the individual, right? And when I say I will not bend the knee, it's more an establishment of that, of you know, realizing my, in a sense, my power, my ability in all of this.
Right.
That's you on your job. I'm on mine. Right?
Yeah, which is pretty much what you sit on.
And ultimately, I respond with, part of his job is going to be, in a sense, I guess to summarize it, is to disconnect, if you will, to cause disconnection.
Yeah.
Well,
chaos.
What am I going to do? I'm going to come out here and counter that. I'm going to create connections, create stability, etc.
Elaborate. I was like, well, elaborate. How are you going to do that? To the best, as
you know what I mean? Like, look, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Doing things of that nature, bro.
Yeah.
And then now things like, right? And so that's where I want to, you know, kind of, in a sense, make that the summary or the statement, you know, that I'm making on all of this.
On where you stand on
the most powerful person in your life is yourself, okay? Regardless of everything that's going on. And so in that way, being powerful, right? Yourself, with your ability, your God-given right,
Yeah.
of existence.
Yeah.
You know?
So live the
That's
best you
fucking
will.
power. Yeah, that's fucking powerful. Be that.
Yeah.
All the time. You know? Regardless of. Now, yeah, you know, there's always gonna be people. If it's not him, it's gonna be somebody else.
So this
It's gonna
is
be
how-
trying to be a obstacle or and you know what I mean, a block, an object
Yeah, but
in
I
your
understand.
path.
You've been through how many presidents already?
Exactly. And how many? Do you mean other ones do we plan to live? You know, beyond?
Past.
Yeah.
It's like, that's kind of my whole thing. Cause
God
there's a
rest
lot
his
of-
soul, Jimmy Carter, man.
Jimmy Carter.
Damn it.
There's a lot
Wish
of
he
like
lived to be 1,000.
fear, and like in my opinion,
we
of,
all
like,
live this
Trump.
fucker too.
Of, like,
At least our.
like right, and it's just kind of like my opinion on it, which is very apolitical in a sense. But it's like, dude, like there's gonna be another president. It may not be the
Right.
best guy, but it might be slightly better.
Right.
He might be slightly worse.
Get ready. Yeah, get ready for the next one. You know.
Yeah, like how many
fuck?
good
This is-
presidents were they?
Now that I,
You know
now
what I
that
mean?
say
Like
that,
look, like hindsight, how many actual good presidents were there?
Before we even get hung up on that, right?
Yeah.
Which one's the
Weird.
word?
Well, that's true.
Go for it.
I mean, Washington had
But-
slave teeth. That's pretty
My
bad.
phone over there.
It's like this. What you gonna look up? How many slave teeth Washington had?
Yeah.
Because let me just say, it was all of them.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
It was like there was some pretty. Thomas Jefferson was pretty bad.
Hey,
Right.
cocaine and cake.
Cocaine and cake.
Yo.
That's an iced honey bun.
That
Sponsored by
that
Iced
is
Honey Bun. What's your
Yo.
honey bun iced? And I don't mean that in a
We don't
derogatory
promote
way.
nothing here until they
We don't promote nothing here.
Until they pay.
till
We
they
didn't-
paint it.
We didn't
Yeah,
actually
right,
promote
Lord,
anything.
that's
We
right.
just promote buns, honey buns. You know what I mean? There's no
Alright.
actual brand name honey buns. See what I mean?
Is there? Is it there?
Actually, there are, but we didn't say it. It's
Well,
still within the range.
It's spelled with a
Don't
Z,
say
and not
it.
the way I said it. it's like,
And you know what? He did that nationality too. Kudos to him.
Yeah, look at
That's
you.
right.
no, this is what I do.
And your plugs.
See?
About the ice.
Let's talk about the ICE immigration.
Immigration?
So apparently they preparing
Wait.
for like
Talk
mass,
about it. Say
Yeah.
it. You say it, because you have something to say about it.
Apparently tomorrow they're preparing for mass like
Deportation?
Rotation.
deportation.
Should I be worried? Because I'm Puerto
And
Rican.
they're going into all the
You
sanctuary
might, you
cities.
should.
Yeah.
Nobody should.
Which,
If you
to
don't
be
say I
clear,
love Trump's America, you going somewhere. You might not even know. You just gonna get this.
I don't know.
but they're
man.
supposed to start
where you're
in
going.
Chicago.
Who else is
they're
going to
make
kick
their way
me
around?
out? Me.
But they also have, what do they call them?
Like I said, I identify
They called
as a
them,
white man, as a Caucasian, so I'm safe in Trump's America.
Trump's America.
My-
Wait,
my-
what the hell did they call
See
them?
Ralph with a blonde
They called
wig?
them,
No.
they're essentially camps
my
in
my
Texas.
nouns and verbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holding camps.
Yeah, to like sort things out. But
Right.
the thing is that if you have
Internment
somebody
camps.
who's in charge of the military who is a white supremacist,
Yeah.
who's to say that any person of color they don't accuse of being an immigrant? And if they take
Right.
you and you can't provide the documentation that they need, they
Right.
can hold you for however long they want out of suspicion.
Sure. Yeah.
And then once they
Slow down,
include
Jose.
the
My name is Eddie. Calm down, Pedro.
once they include
Eduardo.
the idea,
Hey, Eduardo. I said Eddie. Eduardo.
I don't know what you're saying. I don't speak that
I
language.
don't speak it.
Eduardo.
It's like it's English.
Yeah. No, yeah.
like, no,
There's
I'm
the danger of the blurred.
Yeah,
Blurred
and
lines.
that's scary, especially when you're incentivizing people to rat other people out. That's weird and scary.
That's scary. That's weird. Like, yo, I'll snitch Ralph out right now.
Do you or y'all think that, in a sense, everything about what we're living in is like corrupt? Like it's like there's nothing.
In America?
Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's a hard thing
Yeah.
to say because, right, you know, like America is kind of all that, right?
Every
It's the
system,
good, it's the bad, it's
every
corrupt, it's the
establishment
not corrupt.
put into place
Sure.
has a direct line of corruption. I feel like even in good intent has a direct line of
Yeah.
corruption.
Yeah. The system is corrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Any system could be corrupt.
Yeah.
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 Anything
Or
that has a
corrupted.
system.
No. Okay.
Right.
But I guess to
It's-
get
Go ahead.
more.
Question is, Can institutional evil administer anything not evil?
We love that question. Anyway, go ahead.
What you mean, dog? Meat Mills gave a bunch of kids a bunch of jackets during that cold, dog. Do you hear that rap song that he put out, dog? Yeah, he might have sold their parents drugs, but he gave them niggas jackets.
Gave them jackets back.
But he gave them
jackets. But then that's I guess in framing the question that way, then it answers my question.
Okay.
Because that responds to what I'm asking.
Okay.
Is y'all, because he just answered his, is y'all perception as well that the system is, in a sense, all, fuck, like there's nothing good in the system. I understand corruption exists, right? But is there nothing to save in the system? Out of everything that, and when I'm asking this question, please factor in everything that is the system.
Yes.
Right? From traffic lights to water lines to, airports. The system.
Yep.
Yeah, it's corrupted.
All of it.
But
it's all fucked.
But I feel like
it's fucked.
Even on a foundation of the ends, the ends justify the means, or the means justify the ends. Like, you can't do bad things even if it comes out to be a good outcome, because you can't build greatness on shit.
Sure. Foundational, like
exactly. So like
how you start. Yeah.
I can't screw over a whole bunch of people and then be like, oh, but I gave $10 to this charity.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
And we've seen how that plays out over time, because we'll get it something good for a couple years, but then
it's ruined.
The world's burning.
Right.
Yeah.
But the oceans are polluted. Like, it was great when
what about the turtles?
We're poisoning our children.
Yeah, it was great when the
products that we have.
What about the turtles?
Look, plastics, it was helpful for a while. Now we're finding out about PVCs and this, that, and the third, and all that other negative
Teflon.
shit. Like, with time, all these things that we see as good will eventually
be bad.
Yeah.
It'll reveal itself to be actually bad for us.
It's turning the frogs game.
It's just a constant.
Frog game.
It's just a matter of time revealing it.
Let's not hop onto that.
I know.
Policing.
It was a joke.
Policing's a perfect example of that. It was created to maintain order.
Who was?
Policing.
Oh, policing. Yeah.
It was created to maintain order, but left unchecked, we see what happens. They're just law enforcement.
Sure.
And whatever the law is, no matter how fucked up it is, it has to be enforced.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I guess at this point, I'm speaking to an empty room.
No,
because I don't have an audience anymore. Nobody here is here to hear my perspective.
No, we are.
Look at this guy with his not for sale propaganda.
That's right. That's right.
No, please oppose.
That's right.
Oh no, that's the point. Do it.
Part of my conflict with all of these, it's all fucked.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Is that when you say that,
give up.
Well, I mean, what else? Okay, it's fuck. What now? Hold on. Let me say the part where I say it's not all fucked. Where I agree that it is fucked, but not all fucked. Mm-hmm. Right? That's a little moment or the little space that I, in a sense, where I talk about these things.
Community.
Democracy.
Yeah.
I guess what it takes for democracy to work. Mm-hmm. You know how many motherfuckers don't vote?
Like, I'm one of them.
Yeah. And so, all right, the system is fucked, blah, blah, blah. What about all the fuckers that don't vote?
Yeah, but...
Hold on. If the system is fucked, it doesn't work because the people ain't working.
So what you're saying is that we need
get the fuck out there and vote, motherfuckers, and then tell me that the system is fucked. The majority of people don't fucking vote, bro.
We don't live in a society where people
it doesn't. See, you keep saying that. You keep saying, and you know what I can stand on? The majority of fucking people don't participate for their own well-being, and then they sit back and then the system is broken. Of course it's fucking broken. What are you doing about it?
We don't.
You know what I'm doing about it? I'm organizing my motherfucking community. I'm out there fucking getting lots and shit, and I'm changing the system. I'm out there testifying, sitting in front of city council, speaking my truth, and on behalf of the community. I'm changing that motherfucking system. I'm making it work.
Well,
right? So when people tell me it doesn't work, y'all telling me what? I ain't doing shit out here either. Fuck y'all, man. Fuck every one of y'all, because I'm working within this system. And yeah, it ain't fucking perfect, but you know what? I'm making that shit, I'm refining it. I'm getting in there. And then you know what? When I'm running for an office and I'm asking y'all for votes, y'all gonna tell me the same thing. I ain't voting because fuck the system. It's corrupt.
I voted.
No, I'm just saying it. I'm just saying it to the public. I'm speaking to y'all here. I'm speaking to everybody. No. I'm speaking. Hold on. I'm speaking to everybody here, but everybody out there as well. I'm being self-aware about this.
We are, bro.
To everyone.
No, I get it.
Hey, Mike.
To be clear on that, because god damn it, y'all not gonna fucking erase my motherfucking existence. Y'all can pull me up on YouTube. You know, if I got to do that. There's city council joints where I'm speaking my fucking truth.
But the idea of it is that for these systems that were put into place that have been built on top of shit, right?
Yeah.
That have been put into place for
That's true.
so long.
200
It
years,
can
300
almost be like the effort you're putting in is like bucketing water out of the ocean. You know?
Yeah,
And
when the majority ain't pulling, they ain't pulling a bucket.
We see it,
Go
we
look.
understand.
If 10 people are bailing us out, then the other 10 should be fucking patching up the fucking hole.
But
that's not what's happening. It's 10 people bailing motherfuckers out, and the hole's still open.
Like,
But the things that you can do is only working within said system. The system would need to be dismantled.
Who is
to
the
start
system?
over. The systems are
Who is the system?
Whites.
No, it's not white.
Wow.
It's people.
rules that they
And
put
yes,
into place.
the majority happen to be white. But guess
These
what?
concepts.
Guess what? This is why they tell people go out and vote, go out and run for office and do these things. Because it all matters. All of these things have, and guess what? Even within our own people, there is corruption. And then we have those setbacks, right? That's internal shit that we have to deal with as well, right? We got corrupt fucking Democratic black mayors at the moment, you know? I get that, right? And so what I'm establishing here is that for anything good to work, good people have to continue to do the work.
Yeah. You need more people.
You need more people to just keep. That's it, bro. That's the simple. There's billions of us, bro. How are we allowing, in a sense, to exist in that way?
people have been doing the work for forever, but until
And you know what? And I'm grateful for every one of them fucking souls, bro.
Until the system is dismantled, that work will stand for nothing. Because it's like this: we're trying to plant trees, but for every one tree you plant down, 10 trees get chopped down. At what point do you stop and address the people chopping down the trees? Because that's what you're doing. You're planting trees. Commending you. You're doing a great job planting the trees. But at some point, we have to stop and turn around and address the people chopping down the trees because it dismisses everything you stand for.
Didn't you watch the Lorax?
Because all of those things also feed into each other as well. So like if you're trying
they feed into each other. What do you?
So like for instance, if I'm thinking about, I don't know, if I'm thinking about the system within like police officers, right? And I'm looking how police officers are operating and how they're doing their thing. I can also then see a stem from this system that is put into place into our political system, into our educational system, into all of these other things that feed into each other. So like, you can't just focus on the one thing without tackling all of the other things.
Sure.
But if you're one person, or if we get people together and we're only focusing on this over here, how are we supposed to combat those other things at the same time? How are we supposed to beat this ever-flowing system?
See, and this is where I
gotta start somewhere. Is what you're gonna say?
I mean, look, if I am a tree, me by myself, then I am not a forest. I am just a tree.
Okay.
If I am a forest, I'm amongst the trees.
Okay.
But you're getting
there.
bored. What about the other trees around you who cannot be trees with you?
What about the racist trees?
They don't have
So if I have a system that is in place that is burning books, who are making the educational system terrible,
was it like this? Was it like this? Let's say,
was
it like this 10 years ago?
But that's the system in place.
Was it like this 10 years ago?
I don't think so.
What do you mean? Like what?
Like, you know, like at the stage, you know, like you were referring.
You
were referring banning books.
Bush, yeah.
You know, we weren't necessarily at the stage of banning books. I like to say 10 years ago, I think we can all agree that we weren't banning books.
No student left behind, really.
I mean,
really messed people up.
Was the thing.
But there wasn't. Can we agree on that or no?
100 years ago, we were. And then
Right, we went back to that.
100 years
we
before
regressed.
that, we
We
were.
regressed a bit.
And 100 years ago before that, we were.
But it goes
And
to
then
the point.
We keep
Come
on
on.
going in this same
Keep
cycle
proving it.
where if we
Because
don't
each
address
time-
the system,
each
if
time-
we don't dismantle the system just reemerges once people forget about it and it continues what it was doing.
Why not just in a sense agree with the statement that everybody needs to get off their ass and do something rather than sit here and in a sense point to the fact it's already given. The system is fucked. Why do we have to keep making that statement? What are we going to do about it is ultimately what I respond with.
So what would it look like?
I am building a new system.
What would it look like for a
I am,
community?
bro. I go in there, and it becomes that. You know who are people that build who build a new system?
The framework of the old system. Therefore, you're not building a new system.
Unlike, hear me out. As a
that was to make sure
I get
that the
the-
old system isn't built like that. You know what I mean? You would tweak it a bit to make it different anyway.
but here's
poison water. You can't take some of the
Can we-
poison water
yeah,
and keep filtering it.
nigga, but you keep
No,
the
no,
water,
no.
nigga. Like you know what I mean?
But you
get rid of the poison.
so hear me out. Unlike the building we're in or the buildings we live in, the system is not static or it's malleable. It's designed that way. We
You
can't
want to burn the system down and make a new.
Oh, we're gonna whatever. I mean, I guess you know what? Yeah. You gotta
I'm not opposed to that.
you gotta heat some things up to bend them to form them and shape them. Yeah.
Going on
Okay.
with this.
So let's raise the fucking heat by getting the fuck active.
Yeah.
All this
I hope the curse words don't ruin the pod, but get active. Is always going to be my response to all of this. You know, if we're going to sit here, look, you said you're not
active when they can't feed themselves, when they're in extreme poverty.
when
The price of
I
eggs
sit here,
is $8 right now.
when I make that statement, I'm saying that after a person can survive. If you're at the point where you're fucking in a sense struggling to survive, survive. Like that's the main focus.
But see,
Along the-
where the system is at work, because look at the middle class as an example, because they were surviving 10 years ago, but with inflation, it pushed them right to that little free space that they had to go to have summer trips and enjoy time with their family.
You know,
they have to get a second job.
You know, we
and their
hold
fucking
on.
mortgage is
You know,
failing, and everything costs more. So now they're in they're poor now.
So when we're talking inflation, hold on, are we just talking American or global?
What do you mean?
Because inflation was global.
Yeah.
Do you want to be specific to American inflation?
We're talking about America.
Just America.
We're talking about America. right now.
The country that had the best recovery in the world on inflation, but
Number one.
number one.
Mike,
number one.
That's bullshit.
Just no,
it's not.
period. Number one. We're number one. Period.
Yeah. No, because it's America, guys. No.
America.
But if see, this is where I go into like data and the
How
facts
does
and stuff like
inflation
that.
get improved when deflation has never been a thing?
If we start talking about, in a sense, the economics of things, right? In the context of like how do you say, factoring in people's well-being and everything like that, America still has pretty good, you know what I mean, like like our poor is not necessarily the worst of what's out there, if you will. And when I say that, I knowingly, I know where I came from, and so it's one of these things of like.
You're talking about Nicaragua when you say this.
Well, that's my family. My family came from there, but I'm talking about myself and my experiences here in this neighborhood. You know what I mean? Like
in America,
there were levels of poverty that I experienced. And I'm saying that as a person with that perspective, right?
But to say that it's not, like, we have to hold ourselves to a certain standard.
Absolutely.
Like, we're supposed to be the number one country in the whole world.
Yeah.
And our homelessness
Who
rate
said that?
is huge.
Who said that we're the number one country in the world?
We're supposed to be. That's like the whole point, right? We're supposed to be number one. We're supposed to be amazing.
What are we number
Yet
one?
we have nothing. Why?
Right.
Why?
We are number one in incarceration. Shout out to that. No,
Yeah.
why
we have
don't
a legalized
why-
slave system.
I go back to and this is where I start like in a sense agreeing with like it's all fucked, right? Because
Guys,
It is all fucked.
guys, the back chatter.
right, this is where I start agreeing with it's all fucked. The system is fucked. That's why it's not.
Number one.
Yeah, I mean, that's why these things are not working. Because the system
So
is
it's
fucked. I
hard
get
to
that.
say to build that sort of community when, again, people are just trying to survive.
Right.
And so if you're
Right.
unable to show up to those meetings or find a babysitter or get time off of work to go and
Why should
participate
I
in your
care about
community,
who's president?
Who talks for those people? Who then represents that group? If I can't show up in mass to change the system that's fucking me,
Yeah.
then what happens?
In this scenario,
Because then
I throw
all of those
myself
other
in the-
people,
in the-
they're
in the
going to
crowd.
look out for them.
I'm showing up.
Yeah,
You
we
know?
appreciate that.
Right.
Right? But you're not the majority.
No, I'm not.
And you're talking
Absolutely.
about how everybody not showing up is a problem.
What do you?
So how are we going to fight the system?
I'm not blaming. I'm not blaming the,
I know, but that's
the
the
people.
thing. If it takes a community
Right.
to make the change that we need,
Yeah.
to
Yes.
make things better,
Yes.
but the majority of people are struggling in some sort of way to
Yeah.
be able to participate in this community,
Yeah.
what do we do?
When
How
when
do
the
we
last
bring those people
How
in?
do we
How?
move forward from
Right.
that?
Yeah.
Because something has to shift in order to make a shift.
my
at that
personal
point.
does this apply to everything across the world?
It can be.
It can maybe, but my personal is come to the garden, come to this community space where like-minded individuals come in there and we share resources, right? Resources, knowledge, etc. My response is create community, in some form or another. This one happens to be a garden community,
And we love that.
right?
Yeah, right.
But in other ways, you create, even amongst your, family members, you create those kind of communities as well, where the how do you say, the strategy is to advance out of that. I'm not, look, to tell a person that's fucking barely making it, right? That you have to figure out how to get out of it. Is fully acknowledged. It's fucked. It's not fair.
Get up by your bootstraps.
Right. I'm nowhere near that. I'm nowhere near that. Nowhere near that. But what I am,
3 minutes left.
what I am, in a sense, encouraging, is to keep that fucking fire. Right? Because if at the end of the day, if your choice is either to what are they calling it now? Bed rotting? You know what I mean? Either that or do something. Like
Quiet quitting.
So, no, I mean like not doing anything is essentially what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Or doing something.
I forgot
I'm
what
always
it's
gonna.
called, yeah.
I'm always gonna. Put and that's my to sum up my statement. Do something. Everything I'm saying is just to
Do something.
do something.
Yeah. If
know?
you really feel as
It's actually-
passionate as you
heard
do
that.
about what's going on,
Yeah.
do something.
Do something. It was something I heard. It was like a speech at
See something, do
an
something.
organizing event.
Oh, okay.
And somebody look, and they just inspired to do something. That was part of their speech that they were giving. And I'm just recalling that. And so in that, right? Stay active. There is always. I mean, online now, bro. Like you can. And then there's that. Like we
In this ever-changing world, just keep trying.
Yeah, bro. Like if the idea that like we're so disenfranchised that we can't do anything, that I refuse to accept that. Like people
The
are
idea.
fucked. You get what I'm saying?
Just the idea.
Yeah, bro. How can we embrace
you
that?
woke up this morning.
Yeah,
your
you're
toes
fucking
wiggled.
breathing.
You know
Do
what I mean? Like,
something.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, how do we bring them people out? For the people that want
How
to
do
change
you
their life, how do you want to look? I mean, there's nothing.
You can
there
lead a
should be
horse
nothing.
to water, but you can't make
There
them drink it.
Along those lines, there should be, in a sense, all that should be, in a sense, necessary for someone to get up and in a sense want to change their circumstances is the will, right? This world it piles a bunch of shit on us in a lot of ways. It piles. But regardless of that, the world is going to keep turning, right? And as challenging as that is the reality. And we end
You
up
could take it as bleak.
we end up at feelings
great,
and facts.
or you could do something.
The fact is, yeah, man, you can just roll over. Take it as it is, man. Like, throw your hands up,
Show them the belly.
Yeah, and take the knee. Look, even you can survive within this system. Don't fucking work. Go out there, apply for all kinds of services
Welfare?
and shit like that. Yeah, and live within them joints. You got to live within that structure.
The bus.
Yeah, now you got to live within that structure. And if you want to embrace that, yeah. But then there will be people that are in that, and they'll say something along the lines of like, "Yeah, this is not enough. I want to get out of here," and they up and do that. And that's my kind of like ultimate response is that every time we say like the system is doesn't allow people, there are people that are still in a sense being able to advance through it. Not that it's fucking perfect. Not that I'm championing it.
I was just about to
It's
say.
it is like one 1 in 100 type thing or whatever the odds are.
That's my campaign slogan. Is that recording? Yo, vote for Mike because it don't mean shit.